culture, because of the Indian traditions and because of the lot of leadership since ancient times. Sometimes I go very fast and please tell me slow, okay? And then uh, I need to bring India into perspective. So today we are discussing about the changing aspects of women in 21st century India, right? Women are almost half of the entire population of India, almost 45 to 50% between, we can say, we'll see the things. Rest of it are all male population. So it's very important component of the demographics of India, as you can understand. So some of the typical, this is Indian map with a lot of states, 29 states we have right now, and we have a traditional Indian woman who is serving in the form of a painting. She's a real Indian woman that you can see. That's the depiction. She looks traditional in the 19th century. An Indian woman, wasn't it, Pushpaji? She looks in such a way, in a traditional way, covered like that. And this is one of the dance forms of India, one of the Kuchipudi forms of dance forms of India, where the religion, the culture is expressed through expressions and body movements and rhythms and such stuff. I do not want to go to the history of India without crossing these two women, because they are the gatekeepers of Indian history. She is the medieval Indian woman who fought the Islamic forces who were Rani Rudrama Devi, her name is, and she is bravely Rani Nansi Lakshmi Bai, or we can call Lakshmi Bai, who along with her infant son fought the British. I can equate them to the Rosa Parks of India, okay, if you could imagine. So they tried to eliminate, or they tried to push away the colonial rule through their own womanly talents, skills, thoughts, and then leadership. Okay? These are 13th century and 19th century, or late 19th century, the other woman. Okay. These are the contemporary faces of India. Could anybody recognize any one of them?
Yes. She's a
Yes, somebody said maybe the film star. Film star Priyanka Chopra, probably.
No. I don't know what's her.
I call Mother Teresa as well, because yeah, you can do that. She is the External Affairs Minister of India right now, at the topmost leadership of India. And she is the HRD Minister of, that means she is the head of all IITs, universities, head of all education in India, the second one. She is the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, she is the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, and she is one of the central ministers. And she is the missile woman, Tessie Thomas. Missile woman.
What does that mean?
She makes missiles.
Oh, missile.
She sends Agni missiles. She is the chief engineer.
Okay.
In, yeah,
And
she's
is
one
that
of
the
her name is
equivalent
Tessie.
to the NASA?
Yeah, ISRO, in ISRO. So that's why I choose her name, because she is also the symbol of growth,
Yeah.
science and technology,
Mhm.
and then improvement, development of India. If at all India is competing with other states. So she is one of the. So other rest of the women, social activists, a rural woman, some prominent businesswoman, you can see the attire, Mother Teresa of course, and some dancer, Priyanka Chopra, and some urban women. Okay, so some of these faces, I just put the photos because it's more catching and you can make a relation, or you can make some understanding. Okay, so I hope it should be interesting. So let's go into the historical recap of what a woman in India looks like. The Aryans and the founder of Buddhist religion also considered women as equivalent counterparts to men, because people like, we prominently hear people's name like Gargi, Maitreyi, then Anasuya, Arundhati. They are the mythological or Puranic or epic holy women, or they are revered even today in India, right? Because they filled with wisdom and knowledge of Vedic knowledge. They taught people. It was not like they are not teaching others. It was not like they are not taking leadership roles. when you talk about women in India, you always think about suppression and oppression, right? And caste system. But it was not the case. You have to see the other side of the coin also. While seeing the other side of the coin, while trying to pinpoint something, we need to see the positive points. Then only, because in India, the concepts which I'm going to take into are each one are in entirety different concepts or different perspective of their own. Okay, then I'll take you in a minute. Then the foremost champion of women's liberty in India was Raja Rammohn Rai. He was the most prominent person. If at all you think about women's emancipation in India since 19th century, one thing it should strike your name, like Martin Luther King Jr. for you. For a woman, he is the one. Since 19th century, since 1848 to the beginning of 1900s, his name was echoing through social reform. Wasn't it, Pushpaji?
Yeah,
Raja
he was one of
Rammohn
the ones who started the movement against the caste system, as I remember.
Not caste system, the
Oh,
sati. You know the
yeah,
sati system?
Mhm.
You know, ma'am, sati
Yeah,
system?
okay, yeah.
The burning of the widows. The
Right.
young widow, when the husband is died, when he was burning, the dead body was burning, the live female lady was supposed to sit and offer herself to the flames. That was the system.
You
Okay,
read
can
that
you imagine
in
the
the-
agony?
I'll just
Rip
refer
of
them
Change.
to, yes, Rip of Change, and also in Gayatri Spivak's essay,
Yeah.
Subaltern Women, she
Yeah.
talks about
Yes.
sati.
So he was the one who initiated the abolition of it, and successfully with the help of the government he abolished it. Now no more. Okay, no more. That's it. And then he advocated for a proper place for women in the society and also widow remarriage. A young widow who lost her husband at the age of 13 or 14 is expected to stay like that for her entire life. But it was not the case. Now, I'm not saying people are not staying, but they are not required to. Before they are not allowed to, now they are not required to. They can marry, they can study, they can continue, they can live their own life. And then the next prominent person was Swami Vivekananda in 1883 when he visited Chicago and all. He was one of the, holy persons in modern India who devoted himself to the service of humanity and to the propagation of Hindu religion. He also gave prominent place for women in his own way. So he said that women must be put in a position to solve their own problems. No one can teach them. No one needs to teach them. They can teach themselves provided with some avenues like education, awareness and some other such other reforms. So they can initiate, isn't it guys? You can initiate it as long as you have the will and wish to do that. Isn't it the case for all humanity? We can do it, right? If at all we are willing. If at all not, we are not willing, nobody can help it. That was the concept. That was a historical recap. Current population of India, I can estimate, but I didn't estimate the reaching time from my home to Spelman College. But I can estimate that. So I was supposed to reach here by 3:30, but I reached here by 4:40,
Yeah.
something like that, more than what I expected. So it is 13 billion plus as of April 19, that was day before yesterday. There were live statistics, and India is the second largest population, you know that, and largest democracy in the world. And with, you can see how the ratio of people are divided, half and half almost, isn't it guys? Little bit under. It is almost half and half. That means the role of woman in India is very prominent, right? If at all, the role of woman in a family is very prominent to bring up that family into upliftment. You can imagine how the role of woman is evolving in Indian society. Coming out of all shackles, coming out of all bondages, and coming out of all obstacles that were put in her place. Okay? Those obstacles were put, in my opinion, as a kind of respect to women, as a kind of preserving woman as a kind of holy, not a holy being, but as a precious in the olden days, but not anymore. She is equivalent to man. She can take up roles in such a professional way where she can perform very well. So what are the roles she is going to take? We have different kinds of women here, urban, rural. India is vast country of rural, has a vast country of rural population. Not all is urban. Not all are smart cities or integrated. Sometimes we do not have road connections, or sometimes, occasionally if it is rural areas. So we have urban areas, semi-urban, or educated, semi-educated. We can also say illiterates also sometimes, depending on your awareness, depending on your exposure to modern facilities. That is why this lesson or this PowerPoint is trying to bring some of the schemes the government has introduced to bring more and more number of women into the realm of education or into the realm of economic integrity or integration. Then, at the same time when I am talking about women, they are not compromising on primary role. What is the primary role of a woman? Woman. Don't talk about daughters, don't talk about students, which is you. What is the primary role of woman? To care for the young children, to care for the family, to nurture them. That was the primary role, right? Sometimes, for some women, the primary role also be her professional life, like Pushpa Banerjee. Also,
I would like that to be my life.
yeah. So we can see a shift of professional roles and creative entrepreneurship. You are seeing so and so CEO, so and so executive, so and so this one. So creative entrepreneurship is emerging. That means they are emerging from primary position to secondary roles, also economic roles. A redefinition of roles of women in Indian society as a decision maker and risk taker. So through education, she is evolving to be a decision maker. When can you have a decision making power, guys? When you have some economic power. When you have some money in your hand, isn't it? When you have money, you have so much confidence, and vice versa, right? It is the increase and decrease. But whereas here, I want to say there is always, we are all educated here, I don't need to stress that, a positive relation between education and economic progress, right? So, the more the education, the more the economic progress. The less, that means it is a positive relation, we can say that. What are the aspects of change for these women in spheres of education, employment, wealth creation, political participation, preserving of health, tradition-based modernity? They are becoming modern, but in my opinion, we should also keep up your uniqueness or identity. Don't lose your identity-based Indianness. These are the. If you think any more points fits here from your perspective, I am very happy to incorporate. Okay. So these are the aspects we are going to discuss in brief. So the whole lesson or the whole PowerPoint is all about introducing India. If I come back, if you like my lecture, I will bring more into the concepts. At the moment,
We can do it in 10 minutes, you
Yeah.
think? Because then we want to go for the food and people
That's
have to
most
leave, I know.
important. Yeah, 10 minutes.
Thank you.
Okay. Education, if you can see the census, from 1951 to 2011, that was a census period, guys, which is taken for 10 years. You can see that male education was at 82 and female was 65, whereas in 51 it was 8.86 only and 65.46. What a tremendous growth that we can witness through all government schemes, through self-help, through awareness and such other things which I am going to discuss. Then what about public expenditure? The government expenditure, right from this amount to this amount, has started. So in the overall budget, the thing has gone from 0.64 to 4.29, which is tremendous, and you can also put some inflationary changes in that, right? Inflationary changes, monetary changes into that. So the cost of it is expending, right? 20 years back, when your parents are studying in the same college, probably your mothers, they might not have paid the same amount of fees as you are paying right now, isn't it? So some inflationary changes I'm going to suggest there, but there is overall change of growth, because it depends on the quantity of people that gets educated. So we have many schemes, like if you can read this one. First of all, we have primarily the 5-year plans. Pushpaj, I'll send you the link if you want. I have it. I have it, no problem. Because it gives, there you can edit if you want.
Yeah.
Here you cannot if you take a picture.
Wow.
Okay. And then we have 5-year plans, guys. India follows a system of 5-year plans. Through 5-year plans, we allocate through each departments or through each resources to different levels. So through 5-year plans, we are following a bit of progress also. Because when you plan, you go according to some expectations and then some aims and goals. And then chief one of the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan means universal primary education, which is being also implemented in America right from kindergarten to grade 12. Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan means it is compulsory and free education for women by creating facilities for them. For example, the most important backlog of women's education in India is lack of toilet facilities. Okay, that is why many female students stop to come to school because lack of facilities. So that they are being created through facilities, toilets and drinking water, provisioning of teachers and such other things. And the Mahila Samakhya program means the Women's Federation program also gives chances for women who are rural and marginalized, economically on the margins, economically those who are not doing well. And also one of the things I would like to go through very quickly, RTE means right to education. Everybody by default, all the children irrespective of caste, creed, religion or sex, they have a right to, these are all central government schemes, the right to education of children. And also they provide madrasa. How many of you heard the name madrasa? Madrasa? Yeah? The Muslim children, they have separate schools to go. Also, not only for other children, but also for them, we provide. So I have given sources also. I will send it to you. So in the next slide, I gave you what are the effects of education, like self-esteem, confidence, empowering, and reducing gender disparities and overcoming challenges, and perceptional parents of the parents. Sometimes it is, people think that it is not worth to send women to schools because at some point of time they will be married anyway and they have to look after children. So why education for them? So that kind of thinking is changing. Investing in the girl child education is becoming very important through various government schemes. Is it following? Are you following, guys? Am I going very fast? Then comes employment. I try to indicate some indicators. So the level of employment, these are through some credible documents like ILO, World Bank or census records. Okay, I have taken it from them. So large number of women are finding place in employment market. By the way, if you see any change or stability, it may be due to aging levels, it may be due to growing children where women like to stay at home and look after children. There are some factors, right? There are some learning goals that women should, so you can understand that. National Mission for Empowerment of Women. The Rajiv Gandhi Scheme for Empowerment of Adolescent Girls works towards finding employment avenues for people who are looking for or educated, those who are registered with employment exchanges, with those who are economically, socially backward. Okay, this reduces lot of disparities. This reduces violence against women when they are economically empowered. Automatically violence against women will be reduced. And then what is the source of violence against women? Any idea? What is the source of violence against women? Domestic violence? Drunkardness, basic alcoholism, and then wife beating, That happens, but in India what happens is many times it goes unreported, just for the sake of family keeping up, just for the sake of honor. It often undergoes underreporting. So it happens. So through this employment, you can overcome that. You can see that through 2011 census, rural 30% of women are employed, in urban 15% of the women are employed, which is considerable given the fact that before even that they were not even into that. So I tried to give some more. You want me to wind up or continue for 5 minutes?
Yeah, maybe a couple of minutes more.
Couple of minutes only? No, I have a couple of slides.
Yeah. Couple of slides, yeah.
Okay, when I escape, where are we?
I know
We are in 12, but we need 15 or 17. Is okay?
Yeah.
I'm in 12.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
You can go to
Slideshow
the,
starts from beginning,
yeah, you
right?
can go to that, what's that called? When you
Yeah.
go to the home page of the slide,
Okay.
you can get.
So if you know that structural employment is 3 types: primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. Primarily, women are employed in the rural sector for agriculture, doing agricultural chores or doing agricultural jobs or allied jobs or weaving or sometimes making leather goods. But what happens is, when people get educated through the government schemes which we were discussed, they tend to migrate to urban areas and they go to colleges sometimes and they utilize government scholarship opportunities and they take up some other jobs which are more urban based, and often they dislike to go back to their rural places, isn't it? And then what happens is there is a shift in the structural employment from agricultural sector to services sector. So what happens is agriculture vocation has become very much seasonal. So basing on that, drought conditions, famine conditions, so people get lost interest, people will get they lose interest in agriculture, and they also migrate as families. They also migrate to urban areas to find jobs in factories or industries as manual laborers or casual laborers or seasonal laborers and some such stuff. And for those children, government will provide some education facilities, and then they will study like that and they will come up. And we can see that women participation is considerable in the private sector because education facilities, they can work as teachers, they can work as nurses, sometimes if they are too lucky, they can also become doctors. Sometimes, okay? Depending on the genius, like how you get encouragement here, in India also, they get some kind of encouragement or some scholarship opportunities so that they can come. Structural shifts are caused by migration to urban areas and awareness of the benefits of the organized sector. There are 2 kinds of sectors, guys, organized sector and unorganized sector. So people will find more interest towards organized sector because they have a lot of benefits. They have a lot of other fringe benefits that they come. Unorganized sector, you won't get any such things. Yeah? Right. Next point is wealth creation. How do you create wealth? How many of you know the fact that the Indian women like jewelry? Is it? So much. Good. You can pause it.
Sorry, they're just getting the food ready for us.
No, why so hurry? Why so hurry? What is it? Yeah. So how do Indian women create wealth by themselves? By collecting jewelry, either with family permission or by themselves. Real estate, that means real estate investing is also done through gold jewelry, isn't it? Because as the gold is increasing in lot of value and stuff, real estate also helps, gold also helps them in buying some real estate and keeping in their names, so that they have some kind of security in later in life. Mutual funds they do small savings, and one of the impressive thing is the Dwakra. Have you heard it?
Yeah,
The Dwakra microfinancing stuff, where women get a lot of benefit of taking small loans with low interest, and the repayment is very easily done. Sometimes it is erased. You know, when the new governments come, they promise we'll erase the debt. So sometimes it happens. Mahila banks means it is woman banks. Mahila means woman. Mahila means woman banks. Bharatiya Mahila Bank means Indian Women's Bank. Sukanya Samruddhi scheme is for the girl child. Sukanya means girl. So it is the it gives right from the birth of the girl child until the age of 21, or the amount which is invested will get matured at either 21 or her marriage date. But she is not supposed to get child married. There is some legal age limit of 18. Yeah, probably. Private investments they do some cheats, they do some private investment. They form a group and then put some pool of money, and then 1 month you take, 1 month you take, 1 month you take, and that's how the financial things are sometimes taken care of. Home loans exclusively for women, and loans for starting small businesses like beauty parlors or boutiques or fashion designing clothes and some such other stuff. So that is in that way they can create wealth creation. Political participation also we can have. This is a little bit larger thing where you have 61 women in the Lok Sabha, which is the lower house of the parliament, and 31 women in the Rajya Sabha, which is the upper house of the parliament. Rajya Sabha is the house of states, it is like Senate. Lok Sabha is the house of representatives of India at the topmost level. So, but at the grassroots level, what you have is the topmost one, Panchayati Raj. Panchayati Raj is a unique concept in South Asia where you have local self-government. In this, in 1992, 33% of women's seats were mandated. Now, wherever you see in India, in some of the states, you see women sarpanches or women village council heads, because it is mandated by the government. 1/3 of the seats or 33% in local bodies. That's how women get empowerment, and they are breaking the barriers of a stigma that women cannot rule, women cannot govern, women cannot be empowered. They are overcoming that. That's what. Gender responsive governance, reduction in imbalances of power. Okay, so here we can also see the gender responsiveness, male and female governance. We have that imbalance taken care of. In this way, gradual emergence of indivisible roles to visible decision makers in matters of politico-economic roles. So I can say that Indian women are emerging or already emerged. If somebody did not emerge, that is due to many other social factors. But there are every avenue for them to emerge into the new world. So I gave some statistics of how women's political participation is increasing. Clearly it is increasing, guys, from 4.41 in 1952 to 11.23 in 2014, over 50-year period. Okay, then how do we preserve health? Like many other women, Indian women has their own issues or their own health matters. When you are a working lady, you have every need to take care of the family, take care of yourself, and take care of the society. And I mean, society you are in, like parents, extended family, and community participation and such other stuff. So you can see that women fertility rate between the ages of 15 to 49. What is the highest fertility rate? 20 to 24. That means when they get married. What about maternal mortality? I think I forgot to give the number. It has reduced over the years. I think I forgot to put the years. Maybe from 1990 onwards, it was like that. But the fact is that a large majority of women get sterilized, 67%. Only 9% of the male get sterilized. Okay, and others use other methods of birth control or family control. And in India, it is sometimes allowed 2 children advisable, not like China where 1 child is advisable, right? So, but there are some issues like malnourishment, taking care of the child, taking care of herself, milking the child, and epidemic unawareness like AIDS, unaware, protecting themselves, like rural areas. It is always the issue, right? Wherever it is the issue. Lack of medical help sometimes also. Right. We are coming almost to the end. Now, how do we preserve tradition? Oh, it's falling on the pen.
Yeah, that is a little
unstable. I won't touch it. Tradition-based modernity says that Indian women need to keep their tradition. They should be modern. They should take up globalized influences, globalized technological advances, computer technology, or the automobile technology, or the space technology. They can take up. But they need to understand some of the preservation of Indian traditions and cultures, like what I said, Gandhian influences, like what he said, like use cotton clothing, Swadeshi weaved clothing and stuff, and then leather goods. Desi means country made. Country made. It is not mechanized. It is done with some where you encourage more and more handicrafts, and the handicraft industry also will get benefited by that. Okay, if it is in America, we value so much the crafts and arts, but in India that sector is not being encouraged much because that is why it is getting neglected. So, social media and television. All the time we are in WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter these days, right? Interaction or communication is getting reduced. And television, too many television serials or commercialization or mix and match, and then other such things are also happening. Fashion industry tendencies. So it is, the culture is fast spreading between global countries. What is happening here is fast spreading there. What is happening there will fast spread here. Nuclear families and urban lives. You have to choose between nuclear families and urban lives. Ultra consumerism, too much consumerism over the internet, like eBay, like Flipkart, Amazon, which is needed or which is not needed. Even we do, right? Sometimes we need to read it. This lesson is also for women like us, right? Belief systems, especially regarding themselves. So you have to emerge from such a belief that you are not empowered to. But you have to believe that you are empowered to do something. When you believe, you can do that. Okay? The evolving role of women should be understood rationally. So when women are evolving, you should not try to put them in a box, but you need to put them out of the box or let them emerge out of the shackles of any prejudices that they have and give them a chance. Investing in female human capital. As I said before, it was not like that, where parents think that investing in female human capital might be sometimes a wasteful expenditure, because anyway tomorrow we need to give her some dowry and send her and stuff, and then why to waste on education? So that kind of thinking should change. Skill building and capacity enhancement among women, aware of exploitation of all forms. This is for all of us also. Exploitation like any form, media or social networking or other stuff. Organized like-minded group participation or opportunity creation. So when you have such kind of thing, you will have more expression based, your talents will come out, your skills will come out. So like this you can preserve. By this time you might have read all this, so I don't need to do that. But what are the issues to consider here? Sometimes when I'm boasting about all of this, you might be thinking what is happening in India. What is happening in India is also sometimes happening here. I mean, personal safety, women not being in a safety position sometimes. They have to look after that, use common sense or use common strategies, and then other stuff. Personal health, to be safe for yourself, balance of work and life, social life they have to, tackling domestic violence, if at all it has, dowry system. How many of you know the dowry system? At least have an idea? Yeah, it is giving some money when the child is getting married, especially female child is getting married. The parents are supposed to give some form of gold or something. It is increasing. As you increase in wealth, it increases. It should reduce anyway. Knowing about your rights, overcoming illiteracy, reducing dependence on spouses and achieving self-sufficiency, utilizing government incentives, and first of all understanding them. Internet has done a great thing. It is bringing all the things into the notice of people, isn't it, guys? So any questions?
We can actually have discussion while we eat. I really appreciate your presentation.
Okay. It's
and-
very much general, right?
Yeah.
I didn't go into detail.
But it's, I think informative for many of
Informative.
us.
It is
so-
informative.